What is going on, guys? MMA Island team, we got the fight picks, and we got Bryan Barberena taking on Anthony Ivy. Wow, man, interesting matchup. So obviously, I think you guys know Anthony Ivy came off of the knockout loss in his UFC debut against Christian Aguilera. We saw Christian Aguilera last card, or was it card before that? It's card before that.
Yeah, card before.
Against Christian Aguilera taking on Zach's
Hype
boy
train.
here, Sean Brady.
Left in the octagon, just out cold.
Getting finished via guillotine choke. It was a really, really interesting end to the fight. So looking at Christian Aguilera winning against Anthony Ivy, it was kind of shocking. Anthony Ivy was pretty impressive, winning all of his fights by finish and only being submitted twice. So when you're looking at this fighter, this just goes to show what you could say about debuting fighters. Anthony Ivy, leading into that Christian Aguilera fight, I picked Anthony Ivy to win. I'm pretty sure Zach did too. We all did.
Back when we had 4 or 5 people on the show, we all went with Ivy.
Picking Anthony Ivy to win, I don't think you should feel too bad about picking him to win, because looking at Christian Aguilera was never submitted at the time.
KO bust.
And I don't think he's ever lost a decision. He lost most of, if not all, by KO. So looking at Anthony Ivy, you would think, okay, this is a pretty good pick to go with Anthony Ivy. And you look at this fight, and Anthony Ivy got hit, and he got wobbled with it. I can't remember what the exact strike was, but you could tell it wasn't a strike Christian Aguilera went fully into. And it wasn't like his full power, but you saw Anthony Ivy wobble, and then you saw Christian Aguilera say, okay, I got this guy wobbled, and he was able to get him out of there. So should you be too low on Anthony Ivy after seeing that loss against Christian Aguilera? I don't think so. Looking at Bryan Barberena, I think when everyone thinks of Bryan Barberena, the first thing you should think of, at least if you're the type of fan I would get along with, is his fight with Vicente Luque.
Fight of the year.
Crazy, crazy fight. Losing via TKO with 6 seconds left, then taking on Randy Brown and also getting TKO'd in the 3rd round as well. He's got wins against Joe Proctor, Jake Ellenberger, and Morley Alves, Sage Northcutt. Can you really hold those guys in too high regard? I'm not too sure right now. And then looking at his losses, Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, and as I mentioned before, Vicente Luque and Randy Brown.
Chad LaPrice.
The 4 guys, Chad LaPrice as well. So those guys are top of the line, in my opinion. Like these guys, you're looking at Leon Edwards, Colby Covington, and Vicente Luque. What are they all top 10 in the division right now?
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I think I want to go with Anthony Ivy. I think he's going into this one kind of upset that he lost that fight against Christian Aguilera. Christian Aguilera has bombs, man. And that's one thing that I even saw during the Sean Brady fight. Sure, Sean Brady won, but I was mentioning to you, Zach, I was saying, hey, Christian Aguilera is hitting him with that left hook. And it was pretty evident. He was hitting Sean Brady. He hit Anthony Ivy and was able to knock him out. Barberena has hands. He's got some good hands, 14 wins, 10 KOs. I just think that Anthony Ivy's coming in here with a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder. Barberena, obviously, two losses in a row so far, both by knockout. I don't really view that as so much of a chip on his shoulder. I think if there was a chip on his shoulder, it would have had to have been after the Vicente Luque fight. So I think right now he's, in my opinion, where I view Bryan Barberena, I think he's kind of in a vulnerable state. I think when you get one TKO loss, you're like, okay, I got to come back and you got to win. Yeah, and I got to win this one, which is where Anthony Ivy's at. But when you're losing 2, obviously you're not able to get a win if you're on a 2-fight losing streak via TKO. I just think if you have to value where these guys are at with their where they're at in their fights right now, I think you got to side with Anthony Ivy. And just Anthony Ivy's got hands, man. He's able to throw hands. He's able to get finishes. This dude's got an underrated ground game as well. Sure, he's been submitted 2 times, but what I see is a guy who has only finishes, and he's out here angry with a chip on his shoulder against a guy who has been shown to be a little bit vulnerable, at least in his last 2 fights. So this isn't crazy high confidence. Bryan Barberena has very good hands. So I'm not going to say this is the highest of confidence in the world, but I will be going with Anthony Ivy. I think he gets a finish. I think he'll be able to TKO him somewhere in the fight, maybe the 3rd round, 3 straight in a row. So I'll go with Anthony Ivy, pass it on to Zach.
So you remember when before we were recording, I was like, there's this one fight, and I'm just absolutely confused as to why many people are picking this one guy. That's
Wow.
this fight. I
Wow.
don't understand how you can pick Anthony Ivy. I just don't. First of all, this is a huge step up in competition.
Definitely.
Got Christian Aguilera, solid. Yes, but now he's taking on a UFC battle-tested veteran who has only lost, minus Chad Laprise, to some of the absolute best in the division. And this guy isn't getting blown out by these guys either. I mean, only by Covington and Edwards, and those are those guys are the best welterweights on planet Earth. But the fight with Luque, that was toe to toe. He probably even took a round. He might have even been on his way to winning a decision over Vicente Luque if he did not get finished. That fight is one of the absolute best fights I have ever seen. It was just absolutely amazing. I love that fight. Underrated. If you have not seen it, please, please go watch it. But what I saw from Anthony Ivy, and I was high on him coming into the UFC, but man, I've never really had a bigger drop off. The only other guy I've had a bigger drop off on was Alonzo Menafield, and we saw what happened to Alonzo Menafield. All of my hope in Anthony Ivy is gone. Maybe that's just me being bitter about the way he lost and how I was kind of confident in picking him. But there was something that I saw. He does not like to get hit. He doesn't like to get hit at all. Every single punch that Aguilera threw at Ivy, he got bothered by. He just looked like he just did not react well to getting punched. And I mean, okay, that's fair. Christian Aguilera is a very powerful striker, but you know who else is a very powerful striker? Bryan Barberena. And he has had time. He's had a lot of time off in this period. And he's training in him at his, I'm telling you right now, Jim O, his camp is going to be the next Fortis MMA. You have guys, the team captains, John Salter, Bellator submission wizard. Then you have Joe Selecki, hype train, I'm currently on. Impa Kasanganai, hype train, currently on. And then you have Bryan Barberena. These are great training partners, and especially Impa Kasanganai, who actually kind of models the way Anthony Ivy fights a little bit, just, a bit better everywhere. And yes, Anthony Ivy does have a path to victory in this fight. It's ground control, pretty much. He has to take him down. I don't think he can submit Bryan Barberena, but just, lay there, get the win. And on the feet, I just don't really think he can strike for strike punch with Bryan Barberena because he punches a lot harder. And as we saw, he doesn't like to get hit with tough punches. I think Barberena is going to knock him out in the first. But I've been wrong on these type of picks before, on picks that I'm very, very highly confident. This is my secondary lock of the card and my second most high confidence pick. We'll see. But I have to pick Barberena here. I just don't think Ivy is UFC quality.
Wow. Very, very interesting to hear your take on that. Seeing Ivy lose that one. I'm curious to see if you guys are also taking Barberena for not only taking Barberena, but taking Barberena for the same reasons. Interesting take here from Zach. As we mentioned, we disagree on this one, so we need you guys to break the tie. You guys know what that means, so make sure you guys are dropping the comments, letting us know who you guys got in this one, letting us know why, liking the video, subscribing to the channel, check out the other Fight Big videos.